guys and welcome to Lisa Loves. This is not going to be a long one today. It's my weekly catch-up. I'm actually doing it a day early. I'm doing it on Sunday instead of Monday because I've got a little bit of time free that I may not get tomorrow. So let me tell you what I haven't scripted this. I should have put that in the bloopers. I'm not going to. I usually write down everything I've watched. I haven't. Little bit of time trying to get this fitted in, so I'm just going on what's on my Letterboxd view list, although I know everything's not on there, but I'll try my best, folks, so bear with me. So I have not watched very much this last week, which is why this is not going to be long. After October, movies and me, I'm slowing down a little bit with regards to this. I have done a couple of reviews for Geek Legion of Doom, of which I'll go through with you as well. I'll provide links for you below. But I'm watching a lot less movies at the moment because I think I got sick to the back teeth of watching movies last month, so I'm slowing down a bit, as I said I would be. So I'll probably put the recorder screen on for this, so I can pop that up to the side. Should I move to the side a little bit more? Let's move to the side a little bit more so I can put something up here for you. So 3, 2, 1. Right, we're recording. So this week started at the 5th, didn't it? So I don't remember talking about American Animals last time. Did I? No, I'm sure I didn't. I really enjoyed this. This is a true story about 4 young lads that come up with a plan. They're at university. They come up with a plan to steal a couple of books in the library that are very expensive. They're worth an awful lot of money, and they come up with a plan that they are going to try and steal these books. The plan is initially one person's who lets another person into it, and then 2 other people are pulled in at later dates. The movie is also interspersed with interviews from the real people that actually did this, and it just follows the planning, the execution, whether or not they were successful, what the comeback was for what happened. It's really interesting. It's extremely well acted. I'll tell you who one of the main roles is. Evan Peters from American Horror Story, the guy that's been in every one of them right from the start, blonde lad. He's one of the main characters in it, and he's incredible. It's just such a good movie. I would thoroughly recommend it to anyone that fancies it. So that's American Animals. Next is Blew My Mind. This did. I really enjoyed this. I reviewed this for Geek Legion of Doom, so I will, if I remember, pop a link in the description. If I don't, pop over to Geek Legion of Doom and search it. It's a big channel, so it's easy to find. If you can't find it, come back and let me know and I'll give you the link. This is a movie about a young girl growing up, going through, it's German, Swiss German, so subtitles, don't let that put you off. If you enjoyed Ginger Snaps, I feel you will enjoy this. It's not about a werewolf. It's about, if you look at the cover, it tells you what it's about. I'm not going to tell you that. I don't want to even give you as much as that. This girl's going through puberty, and puberty kicks off changes within her that make her question where she came from, whether her parents are actually her parents. Something else is going on in this young girl's life. I didn't know what it was properly when I started watching this. I sort of, as I watched it, thought, oh right, okay, and the ending just blew me away. It as it says, it blew my mind. So my screen recording stopped for some reason. Yeah, blew my mind. I would really recommend that. It's very well acted. It's got no effects in it as such until near the end, and when it does, it's awesome. I really liked it. I would recommend that you check that one out. Next one is Replicas. This is one with, you can see what I wrote there as to what I thought about it. I did enjoy it, but for me the ending ruined it. Why is it not letting me open to give you any? There we go. A scientist becomes obsessed with bringing back his family members who died in a traffic accident. This stars Keanu Reeves. Him and a fellow scientist are working on something that implants the brain, the mind, the thoughts, the memories of a person who has passed into a robot. We see them do this at the start of the movie. It's not very successful. It's an I think it's an ex-vet, it's an ex-soldier, and it has pretty bad results when they do this. In the movie we see Keanu Reeves, there's a car crash, all of his family, his wife and his 3 kids all die. and he comes up with the idea, even though he hasn't successfully even managed this in robot form, he's going to try this in real person form. The person that he's working with has successfully managed to clone certain animals. He uses his family as guinea pigs and wants to try and physically clone his family's bodies and implant their memories and brains into them so that they don't actually realise they've ever died. So that's what this film follows. It's called Replicas. I don't think this is out until next year. I got it by naughty means, that's all I'll say. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good movie. I do like Keanu Reeves, who's getting hotter and hotter the older he gets. That guy's just stunningly beautiful. The ending is crap. It really, really ruined it for me. So I do recommend the movie. I don't like the ending. Next one, Unfriended Dark Web. This is one that I was going to see in the cinema, but so many people said it was so bad I didn't. I did enjoy the first Unfriended movie. I didn't love it, but I liked it. And I felt very similar about this one. If anything, I was going to say it's slightly better, but I would say it's probably quite similar. Anyone that doesn't, I'm sure everyone knows the story. Let me just read this if you can't see it. When a 20-something finds a cache of hidden files on his new laptop, he and his friends are unwittingly thrust into the depths of the dark web. They soon discover someone has been watching their every move and will go to unimaginable lengths to protect the dark web. So this young guy gets a laptop from lost property. He takes it home, keeps it for... he's trying to load a program. His girlfriend's deaf. He's trying to learn sign language. So he is gradually recording himself signing loads of different phrases, and his old laptop wouldn't put that together in a way where he could speak to his girlfriend. It wasn't fast enough. So his aim was to talk into the computer and for it to pull all the sign language that he had previously uploaded, so it made it look like he was signing. So this new laptop had a better processor, so that's why he kept it. And it was the laptop of someone who was into things that were not too nice, and that was doing things that were not too nice, and he unwittingly puts himself and all of his friends, because it's the same setup as the first movie where it's like a Skype chat. I don't know if it's Skype, it's some kind of live chat with his friends, and they all become involved in this incident. And his girlfriend also, who is not at his house at the time, she becomes involved also unwittingly, and she doesn't even know she's involved. So I quite enjoyed it. I didn't feel it deserved the bad rap that it got. I didn't think it was crap like a lot of people said. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was excellent, but it certainly isn't awful. I still need to see Slender Man. Everyone keeps telling me, don't watch it, don't watch it. I must. Next, Mara. I haven't rated this one yet. I only watched this last night and I haven't been back in to rate this one. So the synopsis here. Criminal psychologist Kate Fuller is assigned to the murder of a man who has seemingly been strangled in his sleep by his wife, and the only witness is their 8-year-old daughter Sophie. As Kate digs into the mystery of an ancient demon which kills people in their sleep, she experiences the same petrifying symptoms as all the previous victims, and spirals through a chilling nightmare to save herself and Sophie before she dares fall asleep again. The person that wrote that needs to buy a full stop or a comma, don't they? How long is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.5 lines as a sentence? Really? Right, I quite enjoyed this one. Obviously it's got a sort of bit of the whole Nightmare on Elm Street thing, although not like such an infamous bad guy as such, and it's not bloody or any of that. So this criminal psychologist, the father obviously has died at the hands of this sleep demon called Mara. She's called something different all over the world. This is the sort of thing that freaks me out, because I have experienced sleep paralysis, and this deals with sleep paralysis, where obviously you wake up and your body won't move because it's still paralysed, which is something that your mind does to your body to protect you so that you don't physically act out your dreams while you're asleep. So the concept is that your brain wakes up but your body is still physically not awake, and then this thing comes and kills you. And it follows all different people through the movie that this has happened to. They get marked with a little red dot below the lid of their eye, And if they have that dot, there's like 4 stages, I think that's stage 3, and if they get that dot in their eye, they're going to die the next time they fall asleep. And that's basically the story that it follows, and the lengths they go to not fall asleep. It's a pretty interesting movie. I did enjoy it. I'll just put that down. I can switch this off now, can't I? Switch off. So yeah, I would recommend Mara. It's not too bad. It's not incredibly awesome. It's not fantastic, but it's watchable. It's okay. It's decent. So what else? That's the last film I watched. Excuse me. Still got a sore throat. I started watching at the behest of 2 of my buddies. Movie Massacre and Strange Monkey have been saying to me for ages, you must watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You must watch it. I started watching it this week. I've watched season 1 and I've watched 1 episode of season 2. Movie Massacre did recommend I go straight in at season 2 because season 1 isn't a very good representation of the show. I'm anal like that. I must start things from the beginning. I did enjoy the first season. I did like it. I didn't love it, but they did say you have to wait till Danny DeVito comes in before it gets really good. I love the character of Charlie. If you watch It's Always Sunny, it's or if you don't watch it, it's about a brother and sister and 2 friends who run an Irish bar in Philadelphia, and it's just the numerous japes they get into. Friends with an adult nature, if you want to put it that way. I love the character Charlie Day in this. I think he's actually called Charlie Day in real life. He's an actor that was in loads of things. I think he was in Horrible Bosses. I have to admit, he's gorgeous. He's so cute. I'm digging him. I like him. As I say, I like the series. I like the characters. And I see immediately what Movie Massacre was referring to. The first episode of season 2 just ramped up the comedy so much. And it did have several parts in it that had me laughing out loud, that first episode. There are, I was told by him and Strange Monkey, they're a bit like South Park in that they don't leave anything untouched. So there are some subject matters in there that you may be a bit about. So if there was one in the first season that it was a bit, but I'm not the sort of person, I'm not going to get horrifically offended by it, but there's some topics that maybe are going to be a little bit close to the bone. Everyone's individual. Certain other ones would really offend some people and don't offend me, and maybe vice versa. The first one of season 2 might well annoy some people. I thought it was hilarious. The last episode of season 1 was one that I thought was a bit close to the bone, but this is what these shows do. You have to run with it. So I'm looking forward to getting more into that and seeing how I go. What else? Ink Master. I'm a big fan of Ink Master. It's a tattoo show. I wasn't aware it restarted in September, so I have been playing catch up, and I think there are 10 episodes that have aired, so I've watched all 10 of those. I love it. I love tattoos. I love the competition aspect of this show. I could do without the so obviously set up bitching that they have in it. But it's a good show, so I've been watching that. The Haunting of Hill House, I think I mentioned that last week. I've finished that now. Incredible. It's my subject genre. Spot on. I am so freaked out by paranormal stuff if it's done well. This movie is fantastic. There's a few scenes in this that creeped the hell out of me. If you've seen it, I'm going to try and say something so that the people that haven't seen it, it won't give anything away. The bit when the little boy hides under the bed in the bedroom, that whole quite long scene, my God. And when the thing is always behind one of the men in it, everywhere he looks, it's there. Not good. And when we find out there's a character in it called the Broken-Necked Lady. This isn't giving anything away. She's something that one of the young girls feels that she sees. When we find the origin of that out, that's just, oh my goodness, that was incredible. If you haven't yet watched The Haunting of Hill House, do yourself a favour and watch it. I know it's not for everyone, it is slow. I know Sean Urshan, you had a couple of goes and found it really boring. And you watch Hammer Horror, Sean, shame on you. Get it watched, it's awesome. This man recommended The Brood for me. It was awful. You like Hammer Horror. Most people like, I don't. I think people that like Hammer Horror always tend to be people that like Monty Python. I don't like either. maybe that's just a girl thing, maybe that's really sexist. I don't really know any girls that are big Hammer Horror or Monty Python fans. Tell me below how wrong I am, but that's just been my experience. Sean, watch The Haunting of Hill House, it's incredible. Then again, maybe if you don't really like ghosty stuff, it's not for you. I loved it. Incredible. Check out Drewski McGillicuddy's review on it. It blew him out of the water. He loved it. He also absolutely adored Bohemian Rhapsody, as did his partner. They did a fantastic review in the car straight after having seen Bohemian Rhapsody. So check that. If you're in any way interested in Bohemian Rhapsody or The Haunting of Hill House, pop over to Drewski McGillicuddy's channel and check out his reviews on both. I agree completely with everything he said in both. And he's much more entertaining to hear talk than I am. So there we go. So Ink Master, It's Always Sunny, Haunting of Hill House. What else have I watched this week? I will come off and then remember there's something that I forgot. I'm watching stereotypical things on UK TV like Strictly Come Dancing. I always follow that. If you're from the UK, I'm really torn between Ashley, Stacey and Faye. Those three ladies are incredible. There's something about Stacey that I really like, but Ashley's, that if you watched last week's Saturday Past, which would have been, what day, about the 10th, Ashley's, the couple's choice dance, oh, it was beautiful. I am a big fan of Pink, and there's a video that Pink does, I think it's called Try. I will pop a link in the description if you're at all interested. When I was younger in school, I was a big fan of contemporary dance. I used to be quite a good dancer, believe it or not. And I love contemporary dance, and the dance that Pink does in this video, I watch it over and over and I love it. It just does things to me. The woman is incredible, and the body, the muscles. My husband said, oh, he doesn't like women with muscular physiques. It's just not his thing. But I am so jealous of that abdomen that Pink has and those muscles. Oh my goodness. But Ashley did a dance quite similar to, obviously not as OTT, and obviously not in her underwear, but she did a dance very similar to the style in that Pink video, and I was transfixed. I adored it. So yeah. If you're watching Strictly, if you're in the UK, I know not many people that watch my videos are in the UK. I know Chris and Toria are, so I know you watch it. Oh guys, the Ashley's dance on Saturday night. Oh, what else? I'm watching. There's a series in the UK also about the ambulance service that I adore. Any of you know I used to be in the ambulance service, not as a paramedic, although that was the plan. I was one of the ambulance dispatchers, so I was one of the people that would have answered the 999 calls that came in. When I started that job, it became very apparent to me quite quickly that I was not of the mindset to do that kind of job. It has been a dream of mine for many years to be a paramedic. I would love to be a paramedic, but I don't have the mental strength required. I find myself getting too upset by some of the situations that I encountered on the telephones. Obviously I wasn't upset to the people on the phone. You know, I'm professional, but when I got home, just certain things that you would hear and certain ways that when I first started and was shadowing other members of staff, certain ways they dealt with, this was when I lived in the East Midlands in England, certain ways that members of staff dealt with members of the public I found quite difficult to get my head around. I ended up leaving the job because I couldn't deal with it. I'm just going to give you two examples, and I know I'm deviating here, but you know, it's me. One example was a quite obviously old gentleman that had hit a young girl with his car, and the girl was obviously, you don't find out what happened. The girl was obviously very near death. She was not good, and she had run out in front of this old man's car and he'd hit her. And you could hear her in the background and making noises like I've never heard a human make noises before. And he just kept repeating, but she ran out in front of me, she ran out in front of me, and there was nothing I could do. I didn't see her. And this old man was beside himself. And the person taking the call, I was shadowing at this stage, was so rude. And perhaps that needed to be the case to get him back into... There's someone just come back in. So I had to stop there, my husband come back in. So perhaps the sharpness of tone needed to happen to bring the guy back into some sort of normality, but that man's voice will still stay with me and what he was feeling. And when I went home that night, you need to be able to put it out of your head, and I couldn't. I found it really difficult. I'm not usually, the weird thing is I'm not someone to panic in a crisis. I have been through like armed robbery situations. I have been in a lot of really crappy situations with family, you know, things have happened to them, emergencies, and I'm usually quite good. I've got pretty calm head, but I think too much. And that man's experience, and my mind was just going through what's going to happen to the young girl. That man, it was just the man's voice. He's going to go home and he's never going to forgive himself, and my mind thinks too much for these kind of things. The other incident, there are lots, but this is just another one. This was a woman that had found her mother dead. I don't know if the mother had, I think she'd just come to visit and her mother was lying on the floor. And she had called the ambulance and she was in a panic and she'd left the phone down and she was running back to her mother. The woman was telling her what to do, and just this woman's distress in the background that her mother was laying on the ground, obviously deceased. And it was the nail in the coffin for me because she put the phone down in a panic. The woman's mother was obviously dead. This woman was in such a flap. And the person that, I was shadowing someone at this stage. The person that I was on the phone with was laughing at it and was joking at it and was talking to the person next to her about this woman's distress, and she was making very light of it. And it made me physically feel sick. Perhaps it's something I may have been able to get used to and do, although I know it would have emotionally affected me a great deal. And it was something I'd always wanted to do. The whole reason I had joined was to work my way up to be a paramedic, which was what I wanted to do. But the people that I was working with's attitude towards the phone calls they were taking, I couldn't cope with. And I ended up hitting a dream career on the head. You know, I wouldn't have been able to do it in the long term anyway, because then my fibro got worse and I wouldn't have been able to do the job. But very, very long shifts and, you know, very taxing. So that job showed me that that was not something that I think I was mentally or emotionally cut out for. And that was before I had Isaac. And since I've had a child, and a lot of women will probably tell you this, you become so much softer and more emotional after you've had a kid than you are beforehand. I cry at everything now. I went through my teens and I don't think I cried once. I don't remember ever crying as a teenager. But now I've cried at TV adverts. That's how bad it is. I cry at sad bits in movies. I will cry repeatedly at the same thing in the same movie if I watch it. I'm a big sap. I didn't used to be that way until having a kid does something to you. And if I was like that while working for the ambulance service before, what the hell would I be like now? I have nothing but admiration for people that can actually do that job and can take on their shoulders that kind of responsibility, and I have nothing but admiration for them. But the individuals that were around me, I didn't appreciate how they dealt with it. I put in an official complaint when I eventually left, and I told them how I felt about that, and the response was something along the lines of, people in the environment have a very dark sense of humour, and it enables them to deal with what they have to deal with on a daily basis. I can understand having a dark sense of humour, but laughing audibly at someone whose mother has just died in front of them is not funny in my viewpoint. So yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, it was a programme called Ambulance in the UK, and it follows the West Midlands. I worked for the East Midlands. This is the West Midlands Ambulance Service, and it's an incredible programme. I love fly-on-the-wall medical stuff. I absolutely cannot get enough of it. It's a career I'm intrigued by and would love to have been involved in. So yeah, I love that. I have also fully caught up now with Eli Roth's, is it History of Horror? Probably telling you the wrong thing. I think 5 episodes have been released thus far. I've watched all of them. I'm really enjoying it. It's a very well put together series. I have heard people say I haven't watched it, I don't like Eli Roth. I'm not a big fan of a lot of Eli Roth's stuff. I do like some of it. Excuse me, I'm really hungry, that's why I'm hiccuping. But it's a really well put together show. There's a lot of interviews from a lot of horror icons in there. There's a lot of footage from a lot of movies. The first one follows the zombie genre, mainly concentrating on Romero. The second one, is it slashers? There's two episodes covering slashers, one with zombies, one with possession. I think that was the latest one that I watched last night. So yeah, it's maybe there's only 4. It's a really, really good series. But I'm going to stop blethering. That's all that I can think of that I've watched this week. I've talked for way too long already, I apologise. But I did ask for feedback if these were too long, and you guys said no, I like them, I watched them, so I'm keeping them this long. I will be back midweek to do my recommends, and that's probably going to be all I'll do this week. The next thing I'm working towards, I do reviews for Geek Legion, reviews for Geek Legion of Doom here and there. I've just recorded another one just before this, so that should be up soon. It's another movie I really enjoyed. It's not a horror though. And the next thing I can think I'll be working on will be episode 3 of 3 from the Grave for December with a Christmas theme. I hope the guys don't mind. I'm going to tell you what the movie is for December. If they do mind, I apologise, but I've done it already. It's Santa's Sleigh. Obviously it has to be something Christmas themed, and it has to be something with some awesome kills in there so Movie Massacre can do his kill count. So Santa's Sleigh is our December episode, so the cogs are in motion thinking about that one, and I need to get that watched. So yeah, that'll do for this week from me. I hope everyone out there is well. I hope I haven't waffled too much. Oh yes, I've also 2 episodes up now of my Disney planning. I do apologise, people won't find this interesting that are like horror nerds and stuff. But I didn't start my channel with the intention of being solely a horror channel. It just sort of fell into that. But I want to do videos about all aspects of my life, and a big thing for us is our holiday next year. So because I'm a complete newbie about this, I'm discovering little small things as I go, and as I discover them I'm going to be uploading videos. People I'm friends with may watch them anyway. I know a couple of people that are subscribed are big Disney nuts that will probably watch, but just to explain to you guys, there will be quite a few of those popping up, and it's not something you don't feel obliged to watch it. It's just me making a note of all the planning, because this will only happen once. This is too damn expensive to ever happen again, so I want to remember every last bit of it, even the planning. So yeah, I won't go on anymore, I won't get distracted. Hope everyone's well, and I will catch up with you again later in the week for my recommends, and then again next week for my next weekly catch up. So it's over and out from Lacey Loves.